What's up, dudes? Chooch back with another one. Out here ripping on the Gold M10 and this right here has become one of my absolute favorite things I own, and one of my just favorite electric unicycles all around, dudes. Just because of how ridiculous this thing is, man. This thing is so tiny. If y'all are just getting into this hobby, new to the EUC game, this right here is a really kind of small electric unicycle. This is like a miniature electric unicycle, basically. And the cool thing about this thing is just seeing what you can do with it being so small. You see right here, I mean, this thing is tiny, guys. You can fit this thing in a backpack, but it'll go 29 miles an hour, guys. And so you can ride it almost just like you do with any other EUC, dudes. Because if you think about it, think about like your top speed on any other electric unicycle, like your average speed, okay? Like your average speed is around that like 30 mile per hour mark, okay? So you can literally ride this little thing pretty much as fast as like your typical riding on any other EUC. Now, if you're getting good at it, guys, and you're getting really proficient on this thing, yeah, definitely you're going to be topping it out all the time, like 29 miles an hour. Because, I mean, if you're a good EUC rider, 29 miles an hour, I mean, even on a 10-inch wheel, once you get used to it, I mean, you can ride at that speed, guys. And so I love this thing, guys. I love getting on this thing and riding it top speed everywhere I can go and seeing what all I can do with it. And the small form factor of it, guys, is the absolute selling point of this thing, and the price point, guys. Just because, I mean, it's a small little wheel, man. It's not much materials to manufacture this thing. They didn't have to put a ton of batteries in it. The range I get on this thing, guys, is incredible, though, I will say, for how hard I ride this thing, guys. It is, it's like 960 watt hours. I know, how many watt hours is this little thing? It's 760 watt hours, guys. 760 watt hours on it. So, like, an InMotion V12 is like 1700 watt hours. So, you're getting, like, you know, almost half of, like, an InMotion V12 battery in this thing, if you want to look at the glass half full side of things. But it really does work out, dudes. Like, and I ride this thing hard and fast at like 29 miles an hour, right up there to the beeps. That's when you get beeps on this thing at like 29. And dudes, I'm getting comfortable with even kind of pushing it. Like, I'll be riding it at like 29 and getting beeps a little bit and still be kind of pushing it and jumping and, you know, kind of bunny hopping it and stuff. And I'm getting just comfortable with it, guys. And one thing about the M10-4 is when you get this thing, you're gonna be riding it, like the first day you get it, you're not gonna like it nearly as much as like a few months into owning one, because like your first day of getting one is just gonna be awkward, dudes. It's such a small little wheel. The way you place your feet on it, the way you gotta kind of grip it and all that, it's just a little bit different, dudes. But once you put some miles on it, I got about 160, 170 on mine right now. Once you get a little bit of miles on it, dudes, you really understand how to ride it. And basically, you just put a good set of power pads on there, guys. You can get like the little Gizmos micro pads on there. I'm not sure. These are the Kai pads, but I'm not sure if the guy's selling them anymore or not. I got these a while back, but I do have a link below, guys. Like Gizmos pads on this thing would be perfect. They make a little micro baby-sized Gizmos pads you could throw on this thing and be good to go. But anything just to where you can have your toes locked in on this thing. Because that's one thing I'm kind of seeing with the M10-4s is a lot of people riding them and they're not putting power pads on it, dudes. But the power pads, like, I guess a lot of people are like, man, I guess it would be ridiculous to put power pads on like an M10-4 because it's such a small wheel. But it works, dudes. Do it. Definitely put power pads on your M10-4, because what happens is it opens up a whole new window of riding in this thing, to where once you get good at like just bunny hopping over stuff and everything, it makes it ride like it's a huge wheel, because you can literally ride up to, like, say if I got a curb or an anomaly coming up in the trail, like you'll see in just a second. I'm coming up to like a curve on the trail, and if I rode straight into it with this 10-inch wheel, it would probably make me kind of nosedive, because I'd just kind of impact that front wheel into that curve. But what you can do once you get power pads on it is just kind of bunny hop over it. And so even though it's a small wheel, dudes, you can still ride it like a big wheel. You just got to do a few little finite things in there that really make the difference. Like just bunny hopping over obstacles like puddles or rocks or, you know, anomalies in the trail or whatever it may be, just bunny hop over it. And it's such a lightweight wheel, like you see like that, man, you can just hop over anything, no problem at all. And so that's just a huge thing about this wheel, guys, is the fact that it's so tiny, and it's just seeing what you can do with it, dudes. It'll kind of blow your mind at how good you can get at riding this thing. Because, like, from day one, like, for instance, guys, I could not ride it this good whenever I first got it day one. But it just, as I took it trail riding and stuff, like taking it to the single track trails and riding like some mountain bike trails on it were really technical. That's what kind of helped me dial in the methods and kind of the technique of how to ride this little thing, dudes. And I mean, I love it, dudes. I've done nothing to this wheel, but all I did, and you seen the first clip if you go back, I had a flat tire right there, that first clip riding where I crossed that bridge. What I ended up doing after that little scenario where I got a flat, guys, so that was just after unboxing it. I didn't put any air in the tire or anything or fool with it. I just kind of rode it. And usually with a lot of wheels you can do that. You can just get them out of the box and ride them, and whatever air pressure it is, it's usually, you know, at least decent. You can go for a while with it. I know some people are like that, including me. I just like getting it out of the box and going to ride it. But this one, dudes, I would really, I'm just telling you the heads up just so you don't have to put up with any, you know, foolery later on. Just get a little bit of tire slime, you know, that green tire slime stuff. Put like a quarter of the little tiny bottle, the $6 bottle in there, like a quarter of it in there. And then just pump this thing up to like anywhere between like 43 psi and 50 psi. If you're a heavy guy, a really heavy guy on this thing, that's where I would run it like 50 psi. But for most people, dudes, a little bit of tire slime in there and run it like 43 to 50 in there psi, and you should be good to go, guys. No problem. That's what I did. I put tire slime in this thing like 3 weeks ago or so. And it's great. It's held up at the exact air pressure that I pumped it up to. It being a little tubeless tire, they're finicky, dudes. But that tire slime kind of does two things. It prevents flats, and it also kind of acts as a little bit of like a lubricant kind of seal in there that helps hold that tubeless tire on there and helps seal all that air in there. Even if you want to run that air pressure a little bit lower than the recommended 50 psi, bring it on down in the 40s, and that tire slime should act as a good little barrier in there to keep that tubeless tire seated on the rim while you're riding. But overall, dudes, with this little wheel, you can also get a street tire on it. And the street tire is super cool, dude. I love the look of the street tire. Literally, it looks like if you pump up the street tire to the actual max PSI, guys, and you sat these right next to each other, side by side, street tire, and then the dirt tire one, side by side with the same PSI, I think the street tire Mten 4 would be a little bit taller. Simply just because of the way the tire is. I think the tire, it just has a little bit of a taller stature to it. It just kind of perks up a little bit. So that may be one thing to look at. You might be able to get a little bit more pedal clearance if you do go with that with that street tire. I don't have them both on hand, but that's just kind of what I'm looking at in the fine details of these things. But all in all, you see right here, dudes, I'm riding this thing pretty much top speed everywhere, up, huge, like this is up a mountain right here, guys. Like this little whole dirt road and this little bike path is up a mountainside, gaining a lot of elevation, and this little thing is just cooking, man, no problem. And I love this thing because it's a little tank, man. Like it's so small and so lightweight in total. Like the little thing rips and all, but if you do crash it, dude, it just like it's no weight to smash into the ground or anything, dude. It's so durable because there's not much to it. It really isn't. It's incredible. This little thing can go 29 miles per hour, and I guarantee you guys, if I push this thing, because that's one thing I don't like doing, is doing like real range tests and getting all the way speed throttled down. I hate doing that, where I'm speed throttled for like the last little bit. But I guarantee you, dudes, if I really had to conserve it and I really had to get like 25 miles to 30 miles of range out of this, I could do it. But I guarantee you, dudes, definitely like you can get 22 miles of range comfortably riding this thing fast and hard everywhere, straight up, before you get speed throttled or anything. I would think. I haven't done like a full-on test, but I have rode it almost like 170 miles or so. So I can definitely kind of tell you from what I've seen in my battery discharge and on the apps and whatnot after a ride. And I guarantee you, man, riding it all out as hard as I wanted to, man, ripping it, I could get 22 miles before I got speed throttled, I bet. Like, I'm telling you, like, up, inclines, everything in between. But if I was really taking it easy, conserving, and trying to get range out of it, I guarantee you, man, easily 30 if I was, like, babying it, you know? I haven't tested that, but that's just kind of speculation on it, and kind of from whatever other wheels I've seen and, you know, where my battery's at with other wide-hour wheels. But overall, man, like, I got a buddy that bought one of these things. I was telling you about him, and he is in South Carolina. He never had an electric unicycle before of his own, but he got one because of the price point on this thing, dudes. It's $1,000, and it is so much fun. Like, you get a full-on B-Goat electric unicycle for $1,000 shipped straight to your door, and it's a small, compact size. It doesn't take up much room at all. He keeps his in his Jeep. He has a cool, like, 4-door Jeep, and he keeps it in his Jeep. And today he was down in Charleston, South Carolina, and he was literally running to the grocery store on his Mten 4. And he, like, dude, he was never the type of person I would think to get an EUC, and he is absolutely loving the Mten 4. He's a bigger guy than I am too, and it's his first EUC, and it's turning out to be absolutely perfect for him. I mean, it really is. Like, looking at it now, I even told him to get like some faster wheels and everything, but the Mten 4 has just been a stellar first wheel for him because it's so easy to keep in the car, take in and out of the car, unintrusive, man. It's so lightweight and easy to just. It's an easy wheel, man. I don't know how to explain it. It's an easy wheel to ride, easy wheel to deal with, and just fun and the right price. And I just think it's sick, man. I would have never thought I'd had so much fun with just $1,000 electric unicycle. Any $1,000 EUC to me would just be, you know, I mean, I couldn't even think of really any other EUC in the $1,000 range I'd be so excited about. And it is different. Like, you can get other wheels, like, say, like the 16S or something like that. They would be, definitely be, like, a little bit better of a commuter wheel and whatnot. But, man, this thing wins the fun category, the portability, the play around, and just open-minded, have a good time type wheel right here. I mean, it really is. And you see, I'm just doing some backwards riding on. This is another thing that's great about this wheel is all your finite, I mean, it's not finite, but all your little things to learn, like riding backwards and one-foot stuff and all that. The one-footed stuff is actually kind of hard on this because you don't have a lot of leverage kind of to brace your shin on it, like the taller wheels. But your backwards riding stuff, your technical stuff, guys, all your little skills, man, those literally are easy to learn on this wheel. And the crazy thing about EUC, guys, is all that translates perfectly over to any size wheel. Once you learn it on even the smallest wheel, you could hop on like a Master Pro and it would blow your mind. Honestly, immediately pick up on how much the weight difference was and immediately just kind of learn the nuance differences of the two, and your skills would transfer perfectly. So I love this little wheel, guys. If y'all want to pick up one, links below. Mten 4 is absolutely stellar for the price. Definitely use the links if you want to check one out and pick one up, guys. It helps me out at no extra cost to you. But anyways, if you enjoyed the video, throw it a thumbs up, and I'll see you dudes in the next one.